Jésus est-il la vigne véritable?
Is Jesus the true vine? I'm asking this question because it is one of the many metaphors by which Jesus indicates his role, his relations to us in Christian life. It is found in John chapter 15, and this is the parable that Jesus takes from his own observation. A vine is a solid base, a tiny, small tree which grows in the ground and is pruned at fall season. In spring, it emerges from the branches, and on the branches grow the leaves. If the vine is not pruned, the branches grow taller and taller, and they can no longer produce fruits. So after a certain time, the vine becomes immense. But if you prune it, then there can be grains, and the grains are very good quality. When Jesus says that he is the vine and that we are the branches, it means that our spiritual life, our mystical life, I'm not talking about our biological life, which has its natural structure produced by Jesus as creator, our mystical life thought, if we are not linked directly to the vine, disappears, it dies, it withers, and this is true not only for us individually, but also for the churches, for the church. We sometimes wonder, and this is quite surprising, we see bishops who return to the supernatural, who speak of Jesus, who are faithful to the magisterium of the church, and suddenly their seminaries are filled with seminarians and their churches are full. And then there are bishops, priests who consider Jesus more as a political model than a spiritual guide. Their churches suddenly empty. Their seminars no longer produce fruit. When they manage to make an ordination from time to time after 10 years, very often the seminarian does not stay. We can say that we see the same thing in Protestant churches. Liberal Protestant churches, those merge with the world, have no more faithful. The faithful are leaving them, and the Protestant churches, even sometimes sectarian, but who connect themselves voluntarily as best they can on Christ with a life of prayer they fill with their churches. The reason is Christ who gives life to the church. If the church listens to him, if one really listens to his message, Jesus gives his grace. Therefore, an intimate presence carried by grace in the hearts of the people. And people, the sheep, listen to his voice and go to him, so they produce a lot of fruit. So I don't mean by that any church that attracts people is necessarily connected to Jesus. There are churches that are seemingly turned toward Jesus, but in reality, the pastor's goal is to turn his flock toward himself, even preaching a message of love. In this case, we can see that he exercises a charisma, but that will not lead to Jesus. He is called a bad shepherd. A good shepherd uses this charisma, attracting people to Jesus. Jesus is the real vine. We are the branches, and the vine gives sap to the branches.
La vigne véritable, Jésus, donne la sève au sarment que nous sommes.